Sure, the stream is live. Perfect. Okay, haven't made a video in a hot minute here, but the first series that we did was the just portfolio website, just my website, only looking at front end, zero back end work that was done during the entire process, but did work with a lot of JavaScript, which was a fun build. So that's live, ready to go with the domain there. So that's kind of capped off and complete. So the next thing that we're going to do, this is not like a secret project, but I don't want to just blatantly say exactly what we're building, but we're just going to be building little mini projects that once put together will create the final end result that I'm looking for. But right now, all we're doing is creating little mini projects that will integrate together kind of as we're building mini things that build the one big giant project. So for today, main goals for today is we're building a recording device basically on a website, which then can transition into mobile, where the users can click the record button and then they'll start recording. There'll be a start and stop button. There'll also be a countdown once they start recording. So once they click the start button, it'll go from 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll also have a set time limit. So if the recording is beyond 10 seconds, we'll automatically stop the recording, or if the user stops the recording manually. So there's going to be a hard limit of 10 seconds, or if they record faster than 10 seconds, then they'll just be able to stop it at that point. And then that's the entire front end aspect of things, right? And then the back end would be once the user clicks the button to submit, send the recording to the Express backend. Express is a package downloaded from like Yarn or NPM or whatever, and it allows you to create APIs and endpoints to send data to send client-side data, to server-side data, to store in a database, manipulate, use some packages on the server side, whatever you want to do. And then from there, once we send the data to the Express backend, we will need to create a MongoDB database here, allow users to replay recording on the client side before we send it off. And then once we send it off, we'll want to send it to Express.js backend. From there, we then will send it to the MongoDB database. And then the final thing is allow us to read the data within the database and display the list on client side. Because what we'll do here is at a certain point we will be displaying a certain order of all of the recordings. It could be duration, it could be anything, but we want to read the full list within the database and then display it. We could do just sorting by date so far, but that's kind of the later half of this mini project that we're building out here. So with this, I've never actually used, you know how like if you're on Zoom or something, when you're first opening it up on the browser, it'll ask you, do you accept to allow this specific website or app to gain access to your hardware, your microphone, your speaker, all that stuff. That's the first thing that we need to do. And then this is a little bit later. I don't know if we're gonna get this done today, but this is the main topic of this video, is just get the input from the user and then create a function that will send the information to the Express backend, but it'll really just be a fetch post function that we're gonna be templating out without the actual endpoint, because we need to create one in Express. So let's now go over the 3 different files that we have, just the client side so far. And I think what we're gonna do here is actually create a new folder. And because this is gonna be a full stack, I'm just going to move the 3 in here. And if we go live, it should pop open. There we go. Okay, and then we're just gonna make sure things are connected. I'll just do game, save, that's working, H1, oops, red. Oops. That is not connected, console log of just test for now. Okay, so let's change where these are. It's going to be on the client style. Okay. All right, so we're all connected here. Don't need this. Don't need this. Actually, it's box size. And then box sizing, border, box. Cool. Okay, so let's do this. And let's just quickly ignore devices starting location preferences. Is there dark mode? Because this is pure white and not loving it. I don't know. I don't think so. It is what it is, whatever. We'll just stick with the white. Okay, so I will be using GPT mainly because I've never used the hardware side of things. So we got let's just go back up here to the starting top. I just said I'm a front-end developer wanting to build what we said that we were looking to build. It gave us a template for what we're needing in here. So let's just quickly get the container of the game or the recording. So recording container. Oops. I'm very used to Macs. Oops. No, I want this. That's going to be properly formatted. Oh, perfect. Cool. Okay, so that's going to be the container containing the two buttons. Down below the two buttons is just a little piece of text for the recording duration. I'm surprised. I guess this we're just automatically changing it because this itself, this 0, could be like a span or something that we're replacing instead of the whole thing, but that's okay. And the audio player with the controls in it. So this should just be like a super simple, yep, that works out well. Two buttons, recording duration, and the actual recorder itself. Let's put a little bit of style here. So inside, well, actually let's put the title. And it was in H1. And then we'll do a body, min height 100 v height, min width 100 view width, 100 view width. So that'll cover like from very top to very bottom, and then we're going to do a display of flex, justify content center, align items, oh my god, items, center. Cool, and then flex direction, column, gap, 10 pixels, and it's within it, and then the H1, I'm surprised the H1 is not moved yet. Margin width, align, really? Justify content center, margin 0. The width of this is 100%. Oh, text, that's what it is. Okay, and then that's going to be on the center of whatever it is. Yeah, let's put the padding as 1 rem. That looks good, and we're just going to change the text to say like record and save, something like that. Okay, so we'll just leave that. And then the container, and then we'll say recording container, start recording, stop recording, recording duration. Yeah, those are all pretty solid. So let's start off with the recording container. We'll do a padding of 1 rem because we are doing this. I'll put the 2 buttons inside a div just because I want to have them side by side. I think it's shift. Nope. Is it this? Is it this? There we go. And we will have a button container inside the recording container. So then we could do like that. Like that. So that's the padding there. This is going to be the buttons. So display flex direction of row, because we will change it to column on mobile. Gap, we'll do 10 pixels. Margin 0 auto with padding of 1 as well within it. And justify content space evenly. And that should be nice in the middle. That looks pretty decent. And then for the actual button itself, we'll do this. Button, and then the button will have, we'll do 5 pixel, 10 pixel. That looks okay. Order none. Actually, no, I kind of like the border there. So for styling, we're not really, like, it's not like a styling day. It's more like a functionality day. So just wanting to get the basics going. So recording duration will, I personally don't think replacing this whole thing is necessary. So I'm going to go with this. I'll say current recording duration. And what I'm doing here is just keeping everything consistent in terms of the IDs in the classes. For HTML, we ideally want to keep not in camel case. Camel case is primarily for JavaScript. So all the IDs in classes, there we go, are going to be in this format. Perfect. And we don't need to change anything in here. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be changing is this here, the recording duration, which is an ID. So actually, okay, so the recording duration is going to be this whole thing. Let's just put padding of 1 rem. That looks good. Text align center. Yep. Rem, text align center. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And then that's going to be on the very bottom. Okay. And then we'll just do button of pointer. and if disabled, which I believe disabled. So we could do actually we should just be able to do this in CSS, saying only if it's disabled. So let's do I'm actually going to, oops, I don't want to do an incognito of that. I want to do an incognito of here. CSS attribute for disabled button. It's like something like that. Disabled. Just want to make sure before I use it. Right? Wow, that easy, eh? So button disabled, and then we'll do cursor of not allowed. We'll see what that looks like. We'll just close that for now. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, I'm actually going to change the background to not white. And then we'll do like a nice dark blue. I'm just looking for a specific tool, that one. Yeah, like literally like this. It's a little bit too much. Can we just use the tool? No. I would like to, there's a tool. Okay, this color is way too bright. Kind of like that. And we could just remove this one altogether. Kind of like that. Cool, I'm happy with that. Copy this whole thing. Oh, I changed something. Okay, cool. And then I'll put general in the body, and we'll put H1. Yeah, screw it. I'm sure I'll change the color. This is like literally just a template because we're going to be adding it onto this at a later point. Let's just get all the color changes. H1, H2, H3, P, oops, H3, input, spans, everything. Okay. So now that we have that in place, we can start working on the JS. Okay, so first, create variables for DOM elements. This is all going to be the same. So const start recording btn, and there's going to be one for stop. Oh, what's happening here? Query selector, and we will get button container, start recording. And we'll do the exact same thing for the stop. Oops. Stop. Okay, so we got those ones. We also want to get this guy here. Query selector, and that's a class. Okay. And the final thing, Grammarly desktop integration. Interesting. I had no idea that added anything onto the DOM. And then the audio player controls. Audio player controls. Query selector, and this is also going to be an ID. A lot of IDs that we're using. Okay, cool. So now we have that. Once start the once we click on the start recording button, ask the user to record, stop the recording on time limit, or manually display the recording and allow the user to play back, and then all I gotta do is send button. Whatever. Music is not very loud, but okay. So I'll just do a class of submit container. We could do it like a form, but then we got to do like prevent default. I don't know. I guess it's somewhat better for SEO if we do have a form. We'll just do it for now. Submit your voice. And we could even do a class of a button. And then instead of the button getting this, we'll just do the class of button. Get this. And we don't need this because it's all going to be uniform and the same. Cool. And we could do a border 1 pixel solid black. And then we could do black. There we go. And then border radius 5 pixels. Font weight bold. And we could do font size. I'm happy with large, sure. though I do want this a little bit lower, and this is not center. So we could just do, nope. Recording container, sure. Recording container. Really? Yeah, recording. Flex style. There we go. Now it's nice and center. Sweet. We could do a gap. Wrong one. Yeah. A little better. Okay, now what we want to do so this is going to be the event listener on the start recording button. So start recording button, add event listener. We're listening for a click. Do we want anonymous function? No, we're good. And we'll just do event. Oops. And I don't think this needs to be asynchronous. Okay, so from here, now I am venturing to basically unknown territory to some degree, because I've never actually asked a user to record something. So this is where we're going to get some GPT stuff here. Okay, so I asked it some questions regarding like basics of how to use it, and it gave me this. So I want to kind of go over it, not line by line, but just so I'm illustrating the education aspect of it as well. Okay, I'm just going to copy this and then extract the only thing I need out of it, which is that stuff that I already have. So what we're getting is we want to have a media recorder instance because we're using this. This line here is what actually gets the request. Get user media. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna read a little bit about this. Get user media API. Prompts the user for permission to use input or media input, which produces the media stream with tracks containing the requested types of media. Video track, camera, that's useful. Returns a promise that resolves to media stream object. If the user denies permission or matching media is not available, then the promise is rejected with not allowed error or not found error, DOM expectation, respectively. Okay, so that's going to be try. Okay, good, that's in a try. Get user media, media devices. So the navigator would be the main, let's look here. Yes. Navigator window. Read-only property returns reference of the navigator object, which has methods and properties about the application running on the script, the navigator. And I'm assuming user agent is navigator that we're passing in. Yeah, browser, get browser name, get browser name. We're passing navigator.user agent. So if we just do console log navigator, and everything else is a no-go, I'm actually probably just going to copy and get the information from GPT. So let's just see what this does. I don't need this anymore. That's after. Okay. So we're just going to look at Navigator. So then inside console, let's see what kind of stuff that we can use. We have everything from app code name. We have the version of Windows they're using. Very cool. Wow. If they have anything in their clipboard, like copy and paste, that's super interesting. That's actually very useful. Wow, imagine things you could do with that. Geolocation. Let's see navigator.geolocation. Geolocation. Literally just an empty object? Okay. Hardware concurrency. Holy shit, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, the main thing is... what were we looking for? Navigator. Get user media. Was it the first one? Media devices. Right, get user media. Okay, so then in here, it'd be media devices. Media devices. On device change. On device change. Okay. Get user media. Interesting. And it's using media devices.get user media. Right? Oops. Media devices get user media. Okay. Media devices. Get user media. Interesting. Okay, so then if we do navigator, media devices, that'll push out just that. Get user media. Is that a method? Method, it's a method. Oh, interesting. Okay, so constraints. Let's see what this says. Oh, it's the fucking same one. Okay, makes sense. Constraints is an object specifying the type of media along with any requirements for each type. Video, audio. Okay, so it has to be an audio, and that's why we are passing in. Oops. That's why we're passing in. This is audio of true. That's the constraint. So audio. Okay, if true, the specified media required. Okay. Is there a default for both? The default value is false. Okay, that's why we're doing an audio true. That makes sense. And then we're passing in an object, right? So then this would be audio. Are we passing in an object? I think that's... yeah, so within the constraints, we're passing an object with an audio of true. Audio of true. That makes sense. So this, once we click this stream, this here itself is the ask. We don't even need to attach it to a variable. This should, once we click it, ask me to record. Nothing? What if we do... nope. Nope. Navigator, get user audio true. And that's once this is clicked, we're not... yeah, this should. Oh, I think because it already has. Okay, so if I do The issue is when we were doing this before, my cache already remembers it. So when I click this, there's a little button here that shows me that it's recording. This little button here. This tab is using your camera or microphone, right? So that's the reason why. But if I do an incognito and then go to this, then it will ask me, use your microphone. This is just my local host at port 550 or 5500. I want to allow it, and then it'll start recording. Boom, done. And then now anything that it records, stream is going to be the variable that holds that data. So that's useful. That totally makes sense. We'll hold the media recorder instance array to store recorded audio chunks. Okay, let's do this so I can actually see the friggin' thing. Hopefully you can see it, not too unvisibly. Should be okay. So we ask the user to record. We're recording, and then okay, I see. So let's look at media recorder as the instance, because what we're doing is passing in the stream into this. And that makes sense, media recorder. So that's the stream itself. Okay, let's just see what this is. Media recorder interface of the media stream recording API provides functionality to easily record media. It is created using the media recorder constructor. Event target. Media recorder goes into event target. I thought it was within passed in. Options are available to do things like set containers, IMME type, such as the file, instance properties, returns an type that was selected recording container created. The state returns a current state, inactive, recording, or paused. Okay, so this is what we can use to determine if it is paused, if it is inactive, blah, blah, blah. That's super useful. Returns, where's stream? There it is down. Returns a stream that was passed into the constructor when media was created. So we're then creating this. So we'll say let media recording, and then we'll do new. No. Oh, it is capital, right? It is capital. Yeah. Media recorder. And then we're passing in the stream from that. So media recording, that makes sense. And then from there, the media recording dot state should get me the state. Resume, start. Okay, so yeah, this is all the stuff that we need. Gotcha. Media recording, media recorder. Oh, okay, that's why you're not using the let there, because we'll hold the media recorder instance. Okay, that makes sense. Because, well, technically we don't need it globally scoped. Unless we are media recording state, re-recording. I see. Okay, so let's just add those in here. So global recording media recording, just initializing the variables. Let chunks, I guess, will just be an array, because chunks, we are pushing the events. So the event itself is going to be once the data for the recording is available. This is the information, and we're saying if the data for the recording has a size greater than 0, so if there's a recording, then we're pushing it. But this would only run once we click this. which I guess would make sense. But what I'm thinking is if we click this and this immediately runs, we ask for information. I guess because we're running this first, and if they say yes, instantly it's going to start the stream. So then the stream itself will have data. So then this, because we're running this method with the stream inside, this is going to have data. So then when this has data available, then this is going to trigger, which means that the event which this is on will have data, because this is only going to trigger as a method once this actually has data. So then this will never be 0. So then this is just to make sure that we are pushing only actual data into the chunks array. That makes sense. Let's do media recorder. Basically just copying GPT, but really the main goal is to understand what we're doing. So this asking the user to user's permission to use the mic, and this is going to be create a new instance for the media recorder method, and then from there push the collected data into the global recording object. No, right? Because we're saying start the recording first. Click the button, ask them to allow us to record, start the recording. Once the recording, right, because we're then doing media recorder on data available. What? This doesn't have any. Wow. Wow. I'm surprised it's just not camel cased. Okay, so that's going to be a what's it freaking called? Anonymous event, and we're just doing an extra little check here, I guess. Event data is greater than 0, then chunks push event data, right? You're just adding one more check. Media recorder on data available on the event if data size is greater than 0, chunks push data. Okay, cool. So this is basically, we click it, we do that. We could do this just to check things out, see how things are working. Let's do 2 seconds. Just to know like what we're seeing here. Console log of media. Okay, so we have to refresh and then click on okay, let's do this. Something went wrong. Failed to construct media recorder. Parameter 1 is not type of media stream. Parameter 1. User media audio is true, yes. I guess it needs to be async. I guess it needs to be async, which is fine. We don't like that. Okay, I see. I'm not doing the async properly. Because we're waiting until they agree. Once they agree, then stream will become initialized, and then the rest of this code will run because we're waiting for them to agree. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Now I'm not getting that error anymore. So then now, if we do this, I should have just... let's do 4 seconds, console log of media recording. Okay, now we should do 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. Undefined still. Media recording is undefined. What if we do this? Now it'll start the 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it should pop up. Still undefined, eh? Interesting. Let's try chunks, because that's where it's getting landed in. So we click here, wait 4 seconds. I think I clicked. Or getting no information. Okay, well, interesting. Let's continue here. Okay, so all that's done. We're at here, understanding everything so far. Now we are creating another function to on stop, which makes sense. On stop. Everybody outside. Navigate media constraints, then stream, record on click. I wonder what record is. I'm assuming they just got a variable for a button and then named it on click. So then once you click it, you are starting the media recorder. Media recorder state. Interesting. Let's actually... I kind of want to know what that looks like. And what I do is do this. Background, color, ooh. Okay. So this is like all starting. So we'll say starting the recording, and then I really don't know why, but I love this look. Okay, and then we'll do stopping the recording. Okay, and then this one will be a media recorder, no, recording. Recorder, correct, and then on stop, I can't believe they don't use camel case, but it is what it is. And then event, god damn, I can't spell. On stop, I don't think we ever did start. Yeah, it never... Come on, guys. GPT here, come on. Okay. Oops. Honestly, I think that's it. No, because this media recorder instance is only going to be within this scope, so I have to put the on start, on stop, and everything. But it makes sense every single time we click this, we're going to start it. That makes sense. But then on stop, sure, we'll first get the state of that, which we can get through this, just to know. And that's it. And then now we have to work with the blob. That's all we have to do to stop it. Okay. Let's see if it stops. On stop. No, we gotta also fucking... Come on. Laggy ass computer here. There we go. Come on, here we go. Stop recording. So I want to get this one here. Change. No, I actually want to wait for that. Change the style of the buttons, because for the start recording, oh, that should... I don't need it all that way. There. There we go. So I clicked this. I changed that to disable to true, stop recording to false. This is not triggering at all. But it's adding it, because I click this, it adds an event listener on click to this. So once I click this, because it's already added, this should run with that running as well. Nothing is happening. Let's do console log of stopped. Okay, so that's running. Media recorder on stop. This is what we need to do. Because we click it, it stops the media recorder. The media recorder on stop runs this, which then runs this. There we go. That is the small mistake I made. Cool. Easy as. So console, we remove that. I don't think we need much else. I think we're good. Okay, so that's that. Very much understand that. That makes sense. But the main thing is the blob. That I got to look more into right now. Because on stop, we first stop it. That makes sense. On stop, we change the buttons. That's all cool. And then we got to add the blob here. Audio blob, new blob, chunks. So we're creating a blob from the list of chunks that we've sent the data to, and we confirm that it's an audio or WAV file. And then we create a object URL from that blob of all the chunks. And that URL we add to the audio player. Okay, that makes sense. So let's just change the buttons, create blob, which is kind of like an object, but not really. It's like an unstructured object. This would be a let, would it not? I guess it's a const because each one's going to be brand new. That makes sense. So we're creating a new blob. We're passing in the chunks of the recording, and then we are having the type of blob or the type of data as audio. Oh. WAV. From the chunks, we're creating that. That makes sense. And then from there, we're creating a URL of that. So then URL create object URL and then audio blob. And that should just be a console log of audio URL. And I kind of want to check out what the blob looks like. Oops. And then the audio URL I also want to check out as well. Okay. And then we're literally just attaching it directly onto the audio player. So this should give us exactly the recording. Shouldn't the audio player already have controls? Okay, cool. So this should only pop up once we stop the recording, and it should give us the blob and URL. So we're recording a certain amount of time, blah, 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 blah. Stop recording. Okay, so we got the blob. Size is... Oh, interesting. So what we could do is, if we know the size, later on we said that it will stop manually. We could do the size of the recording and ballpark it to the duration if we really want to be specific, or we could just do time, which is going to be uniform and simple. I can't get it. It legit created a... Wow, interesting. Okay. Everyone in the world now knows my IP. Great, good stuff. Okay, so then the next thing that we want to do is once we get the URL, we then want to add it to the audio player. Which is literally this whole thing in a nutshell. Interesting. So audio player controls, we're just going to add the entire frickin' URL to it. We don't need this. We don't need this. Add the URL onto the audio player. Is it href? Source. It's source, right? It's source. Not href. That would be for a link. It should be true automatically, I'm hoping. I thought cell, so you're getting the highest amount, duration, highest duration, I guess. Display because we are doing font duration in seconds, and then we're doing the highest value, math.cell, EIL, and then we're just getting the duration of the audio player. Interesting. So then does that mean that audio player controls dot duration just gives me like the legit duration? That'd be nice. It'd only be one. Let's see what that does. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's try this then. Log and let's try that. I don't need this right now. I didn't think that we could do it that easily. Test, test. Wow, I just heard it. Where is this from? What favicon are you talking about, sir? What? What favicon are you talking about, sir? Pre? So we're getting this. That looks off. That does not look correct. One Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Maybe I have to wait a second for it. Like I have to set timeout of like 100 milliseconds. My guess. 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Okay, so it is not recording like the first little bit. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Yeah, so it's not recording the first little bit. Okay, so I'm only hearing 4 and 5. So either set timeout. I'm actually going to try that right now. Set timeout of let's do like 1 second, because if anyone has to wait longer than that, that's not okay. Console. Actually, let's just do this. Ba 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 ba. Okay. Because I hear myself only on the 4 and 5 seconds, but I don't hear myself on the first 3 seconds. Which, don't know why. Infinity! What? Never seen that before. That's terrible. This is another test to determine the quality of my voice. Right. So right, because I just heard my voice twice, 2 different recordings, so that should clear any old information. So then every single time you click this button after recording, you'll hear the freshest, most recent recording. We're not adding it onto additional chunks, so that should be good. The quality is absolute trash, but I think that might be my connection to my computer. I'm going to try this on my Mac to see if this resolves the recording. Absolute trash, but I think that might be. Let's just try this. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Okay, we should start hearing it from 1. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi, 2. Okay, fine, it works well. Cool. I think that's mostly it. Yeah, set timeout. That's going to be thing I'll do. Stop recording button. It's a little bit of extra security just in case. That makes sense. And I'll say manually. Okay. Everything is making sense to me so far, which is good. So we're gonna set, and this is all in a try. It is not. I will ensure to put it all in a try. Yeah. Oops, no. And I just want to console log error recording user. Do we need to finally? No, we do not. Why would we? God, I love this alt trick. My gosh. Love it. Cool. Record, done. Stop the recording time limit, which is what we're doing now. So we could say, once they click that button, which then triggers this, we could set a timeout, which we'll just do it for 5 seconds for now. Console log timed out. Okay. So then, once we start the recording, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, timed out. Cool. So we could do this whole thing here right here. Except this could be like 0.1. Let's give it a bunch of time. Half a second. You got all the time in the world. Okay. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Yay! 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. We'll give it, it kind of cut off a little bit. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. I was going to do it in seconds. Why is this duration infinite? I create a JavaScript timer, attach it to this, wait till I see a stop, and then display whatever the countdown is, instead of looking at this, because infinity is not an option. I think that's the best way. I'm surprised I'm getting... Let's just quickly... when I am reading the audio player, oops. Context. Goal is to get the length in seconds into a variable, so I can display the number in seconds on the DOM. Let's see. The issue is because the audio file is not immediately available. Oh, someone's calling me. How would I do this here? Give me 1 second here. Hey, Sean. Yeah, like I'm not sure where I should bring it or what time or anything. Okay, and then what's the like? I know nothing about it. Where should I drop it off?
What shop?
Where's your shop?
Top shop at Coca-Cola. You don't have an address?
No, they just gave me a phone number and like no other information.
Oh, shit. Okay. I'll text it to you right now, the address.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, when are you coming?
If you text it to me right now, I can leave in 10 minutes.
Okay. It'll be like half an hour here?
Yep, I live in Langley, so if I leave now, I'll be in Coquitlam in around 40-30 minutes.
Okay. Okay. What you want to be done on it now?
Yeah, so I have a check engine light on. I believe it's from an O2 sensor. It also said that there's like a major milestone of like some maintenance I need to do, but I don't know what to do. So other than that, and then a simple oil change.
A simple oil change I can do today, but I can check the check engine light, but I cannot do anything else because most part people are closed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that's okay. We can kind of either assess it and then.
Okay, then we can check it and we do oil change for you. Okay.
Okay, I'll be there shortly. I'll give you a text. Bye. Okay, well, sorry about that, everyone, for the literal 0 people that are watching, but you never know. Anyways, I gotta leave fairly soon here, so what am I doing wrong? Because the duration of the audio file is not immediately available when you try to access it to hit the duration of audio, you should wait for the loaded metadata event. Oh, interesting. Where is that? Ah, here it is. Oh, cool. That is very cool. So regardless of if I am on here or the other one, this is what I need instead. Very cool. So media player, audio player controls, add event listener, and I'm going to listen to the event on loaded metadata. Haven't used that one before in my life. Okay, so once then I do this. Oh, I see. So let's do that. So instead of just setting a timeout, we get it immediately once we have it loaded. So now, if we 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, cut it off early, shouldn't matter. That shouldn't immediately pop up. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Because it should only do it once loaded metadata. Duration. Yeah, it should be, or that should be outside. No, that's fine. It's within that. Maybe instead of that, we gotta do it outside of this. Because then we're just waiting for this to completely load. Okay. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That did not do what I expected to. Let's go back to what I had before, because I believe. There we go. Interesting. I'm doing the same thing on stop. On stop, disabling a bunch of stuff, getting blobs, creating the blob into a URL, adding the URL onto the audio element. That's fine. Okay. The event listener, audio meter controls, audio player controls, audio event listener. A anonymous function in the moment that gets loaded, duration in seconds, math cell, duration. Interesting. I am still getting infinity 1 Mississippi 2. What? No, I want this. Oh, that is that. Okay, cool. I think let's do it this way. Manually. So what I'm checking is like, is it just a delay thing? Oops. Or can I like not get it regardless? Okay, it's not going to be longer than 3 seconds. Console log this. And I have to close it on my own. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Still infinity. Interesting. the value of let's see what I'm doing wrong. What? What is this? Duration change. Oops. Duration change. Interesting. I have never heard of duration change. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Did not do it. You're still getting infinity, my friend. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And that's from, yep. This line here. Right, 64. Yeah, it's this line here. I gotta go, but I don't know, we got a bare bone basics of it at least complete. We got this. We don't have this yet. We do have this. We do have this except for the timer. Sending the data is fairly straightforward once we have it. We got this done. Still need to do this. Still need to do this. But that's for a different day. I'm gonna kind of close it off here. Slowly getting back into it. I think having a full stack project along with my portfolio project is pretty useful, pretty cool, because I really do enjoy back-end work. And it's a little bit more tedious, but very, very cool stuff. Until next time, take care.